and Talk Radio. Our stories and our topics will include, but are not limited to, everyday issues. We're here for you, for our listeners. We want to know what's important to you.
So again, don't miss us
on TAN Talk Radio. Tune in again, Shrink and Wrap Show.
We'll see you then.
That's the Shrink and Wrap Show every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. right here on the TAN Talk Radio Network.
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
It's time for the Kelly Show. Kelly is an award-winning photographer and the owner of the website iloveclearwater.com. Doug is the author of 4 published books and a contributing editor for Florida Sportsman magazine. And now, here they are.
Well, here I am anyway. This is Kelly, and Doug is still recuperating, or as Big Ed Davis says, he's on assignment. I love that. So I'm here with Big Ed Davis. He's the executive producer of the TAN Talk Radio Network. Ed, how's it going?
It's going all right.
It's going all right. Anything new in sports?
Busy weekend, with the Bucks winning 3 in a row there to start the season. And then it's official this morning. The Tampa Bay Rays have been approved for their sale.
They've been approved for the sale?
Sale.
Okay.
Money.
Okay. So are they still going to be in Tampa Bay?
Yes.
Okay.
The new owners have vowed to keep them here. So, yeah.
Excellent. So I was not aware of that. So thanks for that update. I'm sure everybody else is.
And the Trop is getting fixed. So.
Okay. Sounds great. And any Hurricanes games going on for Doug?
I'm sure he saw that one on Saturday that the Gators lost to his Hurricanes.
Okay. So I'm sure he's happy. Great. So I have a great guest today, but before we bring her on, it's Amanda Payne. She's the president and CEO of Amplify Clearwater, which is Clearwater's Chamber of Commerce. Why don't we take a very short break? Maybe got to play the Amplify ad.
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
In 1955, the law firm now known as Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes made a decision. Instead of taking whatever cases came through their doors, they decided to focus specifically on personal injury. 64 years later, the law firm is one of Clearwater's longest-running personal injury firms. Available 24 hours a day with offices in Clearwater and throughout Tampa Bay, they're ready to put decades of experience to work for you if you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or injured due to someone's negligence or recklessness. If you feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or unsure about your next steps after being involved in an accident or after a loved one sustained serious injuries due to someone else's negligence, call Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes at 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. That's 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. Non-attorney spokesman.
Shop the largest selection of Guy Harvey apparel, artwork, and gift items at GuyHarvey.com. From the world-renowned marine wildlife artist, the Guy Harvey online shop features the latest in performance apparel, classic Guy Harvey t-shirts, decor for every room in your home, exquisite ocean-inspired jewelry, and unique gift items, including custom merchandise not available anyplace else. Browse an extensive catalog of original Guy Harvey works of art and a full range of beautiful reproductions. As with all Guy Harvey merchandise, a percentage of sales benefits the ocean conservation, research, and education work of the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. The Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation will help ensure that future generations can enjoy and benefit from a well-balanced ocean ecosystem. Bring the undersea world into your everyday life at GuyHarvey.com.
What do the most successful companies have in common? They leverage growth by forming valuable relationships and partnerships. Amplify Clearwater puts you in touch with accomplished business and community leaders that inspires networking, and helps you navigate the best courses of action for your company. Become a member and instantly acquire a powerful edge over your competitors by forming strong connections with top business leaders and elected officials. Amplify Clearwater. One community, one chamber, one vision. Contact us at amplifyclearwater.com or call 727-461-0011. That's amplifyclearwater.com. 727-461-0011.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Thanks for listening to the Kelly Kelly Show. I'm Kelly Kelly, and I'm here with Big Ed Davis, the control room engineer and executive producer of the Tan Talk Radio Network. That's a mouthful. And our guest today is Amanda Payne. She's the president and CEO of Amplify Clearwater. So, Amanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kelly. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I don't know. I think this is like your third time on the show, maybe?
Maybe, yes.
Okay.
I think that sounds right.
Okay. Can you tell us again where you're from originally and what brought you to Clearwater, Florida?
Sure. So I am actually born and raised in Georgia, and probably as the next hour goes on, you'll hear that Southern accent. And then spent almost 10 years in West Virginia. My husband did his residency there. And I served in public office and worked for the West Virginia Chamber. And then when we decided we'd had enough of the cold and the snow, we were all the way north in West Virginia in Morgantown, so just about 45 miles south of Pittsburgh. When we decided we were ready for sunshine and warm weather, he had an opportunity here in Clearwater. And so I followed him. I always say that I keep following a boy, at least it's the same boy.
That's true. That is true. So since you brought him up, let's tell us about your family.
Oh, so my husband works at Morton Plant. He's an anesthesiologist. And I have two little boys, JC and Jack. They are 7 and 8. And just my house is never quiet. They are full of energy and full of animals and all the things that you could possibly imagine a boy mom having and doing.
Oh, that's awesome. And they are the cutest things too. So shout out to JT and Jack.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So what was your career path before joining Amplify Clearwater?
So I really have Chamber of Commerce in my background. I mentioned that I worked for the West Virginia Chamber, which was a statewide chamber. And then before that, I worked at a local Chamber of Commerce. So I feel like I've gone local, statewide, back to local again.
Gotcha. Okay. So what's your typical day look like in Amplify?
Oh, my goodness. No 2 days are the same. And I think that's what makes our work so much fun. It also makes it incredibly challenging, is that there's just never 2 days that are the same. In a nonprofit like ours, and one that really is trying to grow, to evolve, to match the needs of our business community. If you're not kind of staying ahead of the trends, right, and kind of anticipating what your businesses and members might need, then you're already behind the 8 ball. So truly, there's a lot of just the day-to-day administration piece, which is natural. But beyond that, it's talking to our members, making sure that we're staying in touch, understanding what's happening in the community and how that affects the business community, how it affects our organization, and how we can really stand in the gap and some of those needs that our businesses or community might have.
Okay. This might be throwing you an 8 ball, but how many members do you have?
Oh, we have right at 1,000 members.
1,000? Mm-hmm. And I know that wasn't the case a few years back.
We are steadily growing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is the benefit for joining Amplify Clearwater? And I guess I should ask, why is it named Amplify Clearwater? Well,
Amplify was born, and it feels like that was a long history, a long time ago now. But Amplify was born out of the merger of two organizations, the Clearwater Beach Chamber and the Clearwater Regional Chamber. Both serve the greater Clearwater area. Mm-hmm. And in 2019, some of those members and boards got together, those two boards got together and decided they'd like to have a unified organization. Amplify was born out of that unity. And from the beginning, right, it was kind of, what do we do that doesn't have any tie to that history, right? What does it sound? What are we going to name it? What do we want this organization to be like? Because with a merger like that, you're really handed opportunity. And so how did we want to use that opportunity to build a different feeling organization? And so, there's a lot of discussion around what the organization should be called. I don't know if you know this, but the term Chamber of Commerce dates back to the 1500s, and it originally came from Rome, Italy, and where, there was a chamber-like area that, the Colosseum overlooks this chamber-like area. If you've ever been to Rome and done all the tours, you've seen this, but it's where merchants would come together and exchange goods and services. And that's truly where the term Chamber of Commerce originated and came from. But it's not a term that is well known among today's, business community, and particularly among those that are more youthful, right? So we wanted to build an organization that really felt inclusive, but was not tied to an antiquated, idea or bias, right? So out of that, the term Amplify was born. I would have told you at the time it was a little more progressive than what I even was looking for, but it has really taken hold, and underneath that umbrella, been able to build out so many different opportunities in the way that we service our community, from our engaging opportunities, which is our networking events and connections within the business community, to the experience piece, which is everything that we do for our visitor base and our visitor community, to envision and thinking about what our community looks like, and actively engaged in helping to shape the future of Clearwater and our greater Clearwater community. So it's been a lot of fun to really embrace what was a progressive brand, watch it become a staple name in our community, and see it continue to be supported and grow.
Great. And why are connections important for businesses?
Well, I think particularly as small businesses, you are looking for, that connection within the business community, not only for people for you to do business with, but potential customers, right? And in this day and time, there's so many different ways to get attention with social media and all the things. But there's nothing replaces the value of relationships. And I think that's true. What a Chamber of Commerce brings to your business, is the value of true relationships with your neighbors that become friends, and other small businesses in the community. And those relationships aren't just about doing business for one another, but it's about supporting one another and having like minds, people that go through similar experiences that you can pull from and learn from. And that's really what a chamber does, is it brings together opportunity for you to engage with other people that are in the same space as you are, to be relatable, to help work through, whatever challenge you may be facing, or opportunity that you may be facing.
That's true. And you have a lot of opportunities to engage. You have the Achievers program. Can you tell us what that is?
Sure. So Achievers is about 250 women strong.
Wow.
It's a professional women's organization or group underneath the chamber. And the tagline for that program is called Women Supporting Women. And that's truly what that organization was founded on. It was founded long before my time. There were some really wonderful women that came together. One of those was Carol Haig, the former CEO of the Clearwater Regional Chamber, that was instrumental in founding that group, and really kind of got it to where it is today, right? But the idea is that as professional women, we all experience challenges and, again, opportunities, and really supporting one another, embracing one another, being there for one another, really can help ease the burden sometimes, and then also share in the celebrations and joys of one another's successes. And that's really what Achievers is focused on. Our last event was held at the Sam Pearl just last month, right at a month ago, and Sarah Walsh, who is a local TV personality, right? She's a host on the NFL Network as well as TNT Sports. She was our keynote speaker, and just absolutely amazing. She's a friend of mine. Our children go to school together, and she graciously stepped in to be a part of that program. And it was just such a wonderful conversation with her about just all the things that she's experienced, from challenges with motherhood to, being in a sports dominated industry and what that can be like. And just, having those very honest and real conversations, I think is refreshing for women, because sometimes we're not given the space to do that. And Achievers does try to provide the space for women to have those very honest conversations.
Okay. So how often does Achievers meet?
So we have, typically we have quarterly meetings. We have large quarterly meetings like we had last month. We have, our next one is our Friends for Giving brunch at Island Way Grill in November. So make sure that you check that out on our website. That one's just a lot of fun. There's not a keynote speaker. It's just for women to get together and network and meet each other. And it really, truly is just a great time together. But then we have monthly meetings where we have monthly hosts around the community, business community, where women that are identified as Achievers, so they're a part of the group, host different events, whether it be a coffee or an evening networking event for women to get together in smaller group settings.
I love it. Okay. And you also have Young Professionals of Clearwater.
Oh, so our CYP group, I have to give a big shout out to Brianna. She runs that on our team. And she is a young professional herself, and she has kept that group really united and tight knit and growing. They have some wonderful programming and different events. And I have to also give a big shout out to our members who often host those for them. And, they are monthly networking opportunities really for our young professionals, because we view those young professionals in that group as kind of the up and comers, right? They're the next leaders. And if we can introduce them to the chamber and the value of relationships at the early stages in their career, then we hope that continues with them as they go forward.
Okay. Is there a particular age that you have to be a member of Young Professionals of Clearwater?
Well, Brianna would tell you just have to be young at heart.
Okay.
But typically it goes up to about 40.
Okay.
So those under 40 are typically those that are participating in that program.
That sounds like fun. Okay. And you also have Networking Amplify.
Yeah. So
what is that exactly?
Well, many of you are familiar with Joe Lugo. I'm just going to have to give a shout out to every member of my team, Kelly, as we go through the next hour. Make sure I don't leave anybody out. But Joe Lugo is the director of our entrepreneurial services under our foundation. And Joe well.
Mm-hmm.
Joe has a Hispanic background. And one of the things that we have not done well as an organization over many years is really connect to our Hispanic business community, which we have a large number of Hispanic businesses in Clearwater. So we've really focused on the last year and a half or so of really deepening those relationships among our Hispanic business community, building trust, helping them to understand that our resources are available to them as well. And Networking Con Amplify is just one of those. It is a specific Hispanic and Latino focused networking event for members of the Hispanic and Latino business community to come together and network and get to know each other in a very warm and engaging space.
Okay. That sounds fun too. And you have the Duke Energy Ignite Center for Small Business Workshops. And that's focused on content marketing?
Yes. So, Duke Energy is the sponsor. Under our foundation, we have the Ignite Entrepreneurship Center. And Duke Energy is the sponsor of that center. And so we run a lot of the programs. So a lot of our Hispanic initiatives run through that. The small business workshops, which you just mentioned, are under our foundation as well. And those are opportunities for businesses to come together and learn about various subjects. We schedule those throughout the year. We have the next 12 months kind of planned. We have various expert speakers come in and speak to small businesses on topics of interest, right? We've polled those small businesses and said, what is it that you need? Where are your gaps? How can we help fill those? And so what are the topics you'd like to hear about? And so those focus everything from financial planning to marketing to, what you name it, those things where a business could need extra expertise. Because if you're a small business owner, you understand that much like in our world, you're wearing many, many hats, right?
That's
and
true.
you're not.
It's kind of overwhelming sometimes.
It is. And you're expected to be an expert at all things, and you really just aren't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this really kind of is geared at really those micro business owners who are trying to navigate their way through, those early stages of business and giving them the tools and resources and education, quite frankly, that they may need to be successful.
Is there a cost for these workshops?
They're not. They're completely free.
No cost.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's amazing. So you also have business circles. What is this?
So Business Circles was, born out of feedback that we needed more networking opportunities in terms of those business after hours. So we host what we call Chamber on Tap once a month, and it is an evening networking event, but it's once a month, right? And so Business Circles was born out of an opportunity to really be to the feedback that we needed a little more opportunity for businesses to engage in that evening time frame, but also very focused and narrowed on the types of businesses that do it. So kind of matching businesses, allowing only certain businesses of more like a BNI where you have one business of a particular sector that engages, right? So, kind of more narrowed on the type of industry, right? Making sure that all the businesses complement one another and not compete. So that's what Business Circles was designed around. More of a exclusive networking opportunity around, the type of industry that you may represent.
Okay. So when's the next Chamber on Top?
You know what, Kelly, without looking at
my
calendar, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow without looking at my calendar. So
okay, that was out of left field. I apologize. So yes, those are always fun. We used to go to a lot of them. And you have like raffles and
we do, and like 50-50 and it's all really of the things, right? Okay, so here we go. I've got it. Chamber on Tap. We're combining Thursday, October 16th. We're combining actually a Clearwater Young Professionals social with our Chamber on Tap, and that will be at the AC Hotel on Clearwater Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I wrote about that.
So we'd love to have everyone.
That's a nice place.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And it'll be a lot of fun to combine it with our young professionals group too.
Is it going to be on the roof?
That's usually where they host us.
Yeah, they've got a really nice view from the roof. Yeah, so. And you also have ribbon cuttings.
Lots of ribbon cuttings, which is just great.
So every time a business joins Amplify, is there ribbon cutting?
Ribbon cuttings are limited to grand openings or milestones, right? So when you think about the number of ribbon cuttings we have representing either milestones or grand openings, that's a significant, amount of activity, right?
Yes.
In our business community. So, we have ribbon cuttings weekly almost, and sometimes multiple times a week.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just a lot of fun to go meet these new businesses, to celebrate with them and to cut that ribbon, and then be able to promote them as a part of that. And then others are milestones, whether it be a remodeling of a facility or a significant anniversary celebration, 5, 10, 15, 25 years, those kind of things are things that we come out for.
Okay. Tell us about a recent one. A milestone or a ribbon cutting?
Well, one is your neighbor right down here, Clearwater Brewing Company. They just had a ribbon cutting right down the street here. So we were excited to cut their ribbon.
Yeah. Is that a new ownership?
It is. Yes.
A new ownership, because there was a brewery there before, and now it's a new owner. Yeah. Okay, so great. I look forward to visiting them. So can you preview any major October events that business owners should mark on their calendars?
Well, I'd like to talk about one that we just had on Friday night, if you don't mind, and
then
we'll talk about others that we have coming up. We had our Stellar Awards at Ruth Eckerd Hall,
right?
Where we recognized the stars of our business community. So there is a nomination process, then compete for fill out the application kind of process, fill out the awards form from where you've been nominated, and we recognized 16 businesses, 16 different categories in our business community.
Wow.
And it was just an exciting night. A sold out crowd at Ruth Eckerd Hall. And I've had nothing but compliments around the event. Yes. It's a very fast-paced, moving event. It's not an awards event where you sit for several hours and you're bored. I would say that everybody laughed and was entertained the entire time, and we were out the door by 8:00. So when you started at 6:30 and you're done with 16 awards by 8:00, I would say that's a pretty fast pace.
That's awesome.
We design it intentionally. We want people to have a good time, but we also don't want to keep them there any longer than necessary. So it is truly all a celebration. And a fast-moving night, and so it was a lot of fun to be able to recognize those businesses. As far as what's coming up in October, we have our Chamber on Tap that I mentioned to you.
Sure.
We have our Young Professional Summit actually a little later this week, so not quite October, but a little later this week. We have in November, I mentioned the Achievers Friends for Giving event. One of our next big events would be our annual meeting and our gala, our winter gala, which will be at the end of January. So I'd welcome everyone to attend that. That's where your movers and shakers from the business community are and attend. But we have multiple events. If you look on our website, multiple events over the next 3 or 4 months that keep us busy, keep us running.
Yes.
And would welcome anyone that's a member or a non-member to be a part of those.
Okay. So I remember the Winter Gala. It is fun. Everybody's dressed to the nines.
Yes.
And it's a nice time. So what is the website that people can look for?
It's amplifyclearwater.com.
Very straightforward and easy. Okay. Why don't we take a short break and we'll be back again to talk with Amanda Payne of Amplify Clearwater.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
In 1955, the law firm now known as Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes made a decision. Instead of taking whatever cases came through their doors, they decided to focus specifically on personal injury. 64 years later, the law firm is one of Clearwater's longest-running personal injury firms. Available 24 hours a day with offices in Clearwater and throughout Tampa Bay, they're ready to put decades of experience to work for you if you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or injured due to someone's negligence or recklessness. If you feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or unsure about your next steps after being involved in an accident or after a loved one sustained serious injuries due to someone else's negligence, call Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes at 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. That's 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. Non-attorney spokesman.
Shop the largest selection of Guy Harvey apparel, artwork, and gift items at GuyHarvey.com. From the world-renowned marine wildlife artist, the Guy Harvey online shop features the latest in performance apparel, classic Guy Harvey t-shirts, decor for every room in your home, exquisite ocean-inspired jewelry, and unique gift items, including custom merchandise not available anyplace else. Browse an extensive catalog of original Guy Harvey works of art and a full range of beautiful reproductions. As with all Guy Harvey merchandise, a percentage of sales benefits the ocean conservation, research, and education work of the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. The Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation will help ensure that future generations can enjoy and benefit from a well-balanced ocean ecosystem. Bring the undersea world into your everyday life at GuyHarvey.com.
Just about everyone is fascinated by the mafia. Books and movies like The Godfather, Goodfellas, Casino, and many others became bestsellers and box office hits. Did you know that a century ago, mobsters like Al Capone discovered Florida's tropical climate and sparse law enforcement? Mafia bosses from around the nation began setting up illegal operations in Florida. Now, for the first time, a new book titled Sunshine State Mafia, A History of Florida's Mobsters, Hitmen, and Wise Guys provides vivid stories and never-before-seen images of dangerous criminals who settled in Florida full or part-time. Written by renowned author Doug Kelly, Sunshine State Mafia exposes the hidden history of the mob throughout the state and includes Doug's own brushes with crime figures. Sunshine State Mafia is available at all major book retailers, or obtain a signed copy by calling 727-724-4949 or email sunshinestatemafia@gmail.com.
What do the most successful companies have in common? They leverage growth by forming valuable relationships and partnerships. Amplify Clearwater puts you in touch with accomplished business and community leaders that inspires networking and helps you navigate the best courses of action for your company. Become a member and instantly acquire a powerful edge over your competitors by forming strong connections with top business leaders and elected officials. Amplify Clearwater. one community, one chamber, one vision. Contact us at amplifyclearwater.com or call 727-461-0011. That's amplifyclearwater.com, 727-461-0011.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Thanks for listening to the Kelly Kelly Show. I'm Kelly Kelly. I'm here with Big Ed Davis. He's the executive producer of the Tan Talk Network and the radio control room engineer. And I'm here with our guest, Amanda Payne. She's the president and CEO of Amplify Clearwater, which is the local chamber of commerce in Clearwater. And it's more than Clearwater, isn't it?
Well, we represent members from all over the Tampa Bay region.
Okay.
So our membership base isn't just limited to Clearwater.
Not to Clearwater. What's the farthest business?
Orlando.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing. And we have some more programs to talk about. Like, you only have 5 employees?
We do, yeah.
And
we're a small,
this is
mighty
a
team.
lot for 5 employees. You have Amplify Hope. Tell us about that.
So Amplify Hope was born a couple of years ago when I'm sure we'll all remember when we thought Hurricane Ian was going to be our hurricane. We were all boarding up our windows and the sandbags and all the things, right? And then, very quickly it made a right-hand turn and it just devastated Lee County, Captiva and Sanibel, specifically in Fort Myers. And I think for all of us, we felt, a bit guilty, right? That was our storm. We were preparing for that storm. And by all means, that storm was, by everybody's projection, was going to be our storm. Mm-hmm. Some of those Chamber of Commerce leaders in those communities were friends of mine. I remember talking to them very early on, after Ian had struck their communities and just the complete devastation and loss, that they were experiencing, and just, a little bit like what we experienced with Helene. Mm-hmm. And so I remember saying we have to do something for these communities. So we launched Amplify Hope under our foundation, our chamber foundation. And we collected contributions from our community that we donated to those businesses in those communities. And it was just it was a wonderful way to show those communities that we supported them. Mm-hmm. But it was also a way for us to help. We felt like, again, a little bit of guilt, right? And felt like, we needed to do something for them because they were unprepared. They anticipated the storm being our storm as well, mm-hmm. and they were completely unprepared. And so I'd say the devastation was just so great.
Didn't one person, they lost their whole restaurant?
Oh, there were many there, just completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Lost everything. And so, in that vein, we were able to really help and support those businesses, and not in a huge way, but in a way that let them know that we cared, that the communities
Sure.
around them were there and wanted to be there for them, wanted to help. And I'd say many of our businesses organized and did the same thing with supplies and water and that type of thing. So it was wonderful to see our community come together for our neighbors. Fast forward to 2024, and I don't think anybody really remembers Debbie, but we had 3 hurricanes within 3 weeks of each other. Does everybody? And so there was Debbie, and then there was Helene, and then there was Milton. And I would say from a loss standpoint, Helene was one of our worst, right? Mm-hmm. Just the amount of flooding that came along our coastline and really devastated everybody on Clearwater Beach. It treated everybody equally. If you were ground level, it took you out. And so, I remember actually I had somebody FaceTime me from riding their bicycle the very next morning from Clearwater Beach. And I was just blown away, right? And we've all seen the pictures, but when you see sand that's as high as the street signs, right? You can see the street signs sticking up just above the sand. Mm-hmm. I mean, in some places the sand was 7 and 8 feet high and you could no longer see the streets. And it was I was just in shock over the condition that Helene had left our beach. And kind of that same feeling now of what do we do? How do we help our business community? We as soon as we were able to be on the beach, the chamber team, we put on our mud boots and T-shirts, and we went out with pizza and water, and we're just kind of delivering to workers, cleaning up, and to our businesses, and just kind of going door to door and just checking on everybody. How are you? How can we help you? And I think everybody was just kind of in those early phases of just reeling, and I held business owners as they cried, I cried. And then, 10 days later, Milton came along, and we hadn't even caught our breath from the devastation that Helene had done. And now we were facing another potential hurricane that was bearing down on us again. And so, that obviously scared many of our businesses. And after we were able to put Milton behind us, we began to rally, amplify hope again. And with the help of our city leadership, we were able to, restore Clearwater Beach quickly. But what you don't realize until you've gone through an experience like that is there's not resources there for businesses like there are for residents, right? There's not, necessarily the flood insurance and the FEMA. There's no FEMA relief, right, coming for businesses. Those are for residents. Trash pickup, as our city manager would tell you, she knows way more about trash pickup than I did, but I know way more about trash pickup than I ever thought I'd know in my life, right? And the difference between residential and commercial and how that works, and just all the things that you don't know until as a community you've had to face it, right? And so, we were watching debris being pulled out of businesses after Helene to sit on the side of the road, commercial, debris to sit on the side of the road, not understanding yet. And here's Milton bearing down on us that would potentially take that debris and use it as shrapnel, right? So, but, we have businesses that still aren't clear on how the pickup and cleanup even is happening, right? And we have another hurricane coming. And so, kudos to our state leadership sending in dump trucks and starting to clean up that debris before Milton actually struck our coastline.
Because I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. It was a crazy 2 weeks, I will say. But, we had major and philanthropic partners in this destination. One of those being the Phillies, the Philadelphia Phillies. They called our organization and said to me, we want to give some money to help businesses and residents with those that have been devastated by the hurricane. And they gave us $1 million. $1 million
awesome.
through our foundation. And we began to write checks, and they challenged our community to help as well, and to do a match. And they offered to do a match, but they were really challenging our community to participate. And so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heard that call, and they've also donated significantly to the foundation as well. And to date, we've written about 180 checks to businesses and residents, helping them get back on their feet. And in some cases, we were that initial lifeline. There was nowhere for them to turn. They didn't know, they didn't know where their resources were coming from next. They weren't able to get open and do business. And, we were the ones that provided some light, due to the generosity of our community partners. And
so another good reason to be a part of Amplify Clearwater.
Well, this wasn't just for members, but we certainly, it was
Wow.
not. We supported our community equally, member, non-member, residents. It was about really rallying and making sure that our community could get back on their feet again.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah. Last year was horrible. Let's hope that this year is hurricane free.
Yeah. Well, we'll knock on wood on that one,
Yes,
Kelly.
absolutely. So you also have an entrepreneurship program.
Yeah. So, that's really designed around, our youth entrepreneurship program, I think is what you're referring to. That's really designed to introduce middle school and high school students on all aspects of owning a business. So those that are interested in being a business owner, potentially starting a business, or may have a great business idea. We are working with our school systems in both middle school and high school to attract students to this program. So we'll have a class of 30. Our cohorts will be at 30, and it will coincide with the school calendar year. So we're actually identifying students now, and we'll kick off the program in January, and it'll run until May. But it really teaches them all aspects of being an entrepreneur, what it's like to own a business, run a business, hire and fire, right? The balance sheet, your financials, all the things. And then at the end of it, at the end of the program, the cohort comes together and we essentially do a pitch night, right? So they get to pitch to judges, similar to something that you've been through, right? They get to pitch to judges what their ideas are and that kind of thing. And there's an ultimate a winner process through that. And we're really excited about it, though, because I say, that to me, that's part of workforce development, and really developing that talent pipeline for our employers, because as a young person, if you know what it takes, or you've been educated on what it takes to run and own a business, you're going to be, whether or not you go on to own or run a business, isn't as important as you understanding the process. So now you're a better employee, right? If you go on to be someone else's employee, you now understand what it takes, right? In all the aspects. Because, I don't want to blanketly say today's generation, but what you really want to do is you make sure that youth understand that a lot more goes into business. It's a lot less self-centered, right? There's a lot of pieces in a business that, and it takes a team to make things work, and that you have to have all aspects, right? And so kind of teaching young folks about what that team approach looks like and what it takes to run a business hopefully makes them more thoughtful employees or employers in the future.
That's perfect. I wish I had something like that when I was growing up. And nowadays, kids, they know a lot about social media, about Photoshop, things that maybe us older folks aren't great at. But I'm amazed at how like my grandson, he's just, he can do posters, professional looking posters and videos, and I'm amazed. And so,
well, we have a class for that, Kelly. Just
you do.
As part of our workshops, we're always teaching about marketing and AI and those kind of things. Yes. A lot of those are used. It's amazing what AI can do, right? And a lot of those tools, AI tools, are used in those programs.
So you do learn that. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so if somebody wants to become a member, how would they go about doing that?
A variety of ways. So you call the chamber, would stop in and visit. We are located over, our main administrative office is located over on Fort Harrison, right at where Lakeview dead ends into Fort Harrison, or on our website. All of the variety of options of membership options are there. We have very basic levels to top tier levels. Depends on your, budget size, team size, business size, and, to what degree you want to engage at. But we'd love to just chat with you and see how we can help you. And maybe, we try to, when we bring new businesses in, we try to identify what their needs are and the reasons for joining the chamber. And then we try to make sure that we plug them in accordingly. Because everybody can join the chamber for different reasons. It can be networking. It can be relationship based. It can be access, right? We have good relationships with our political and elected leaders. So it can be for access.
That's important.
Be policy driven, right? Is there something that's happened in the policy world that has affected your business, and how can we help you engage on that? So there's a variety of reasons why people might join the chamber. It depends on business size or experience or that type of thing. So we want to be sure that we kind of capture that and make sure that we are guiding them accordingly so they get the most out of it.
Okay. Are there any specific requirements or categories for membership?
No. Just you need to be a registered business, right?
Registered business
with Florida Sunbiz and our city. But just that's all that, make sure that you've got a BTR and a Sunbiz license.
Okay. So I know that because our business is a member of Amplify Clearwater.
Yes.
So yeah. And you have a wonderful member directory.
Yes,
I haven't
online.
Accessed that in a long time, but that is a big benefit.
It is. All of our members are listed online. And what's really great about that is what this says to people that are looking for, particular service or to fill a particular need. These are the people that join the chamber are really those that are invested in their community and committed to their community. They're not fly-by-night companies, right? And so, what that says to others is these are people you can trust to do business with.
Absolutely. That is a valuable tool. Are there any sponsorship or visibility opportunities available to members?
We have a large menu of things, whether it's sponsoring our events. We also produce a visitor guide
That's
for
right.
our
We didn't
members.
bring
Yep,
that up. What is
yep.
a visitor guide?
So our visitor guide, we print, I think 60,000 of those every year. And those are distributed all over the state of Florida and some, welcome centers outside of the state as well. But they are, and we ship them everywhere. We ship them weekly all over the United States and even internationally. But it's a visitor guide. It's a guide for visitors when they come to visit our destination, where they might want to stay, where they might want to eat. We have editorial content in there in terms of experiences and opportunities and activities and highlighting, wonderful things around our destination. So it's a really great piece, right, to be a part of, particularly if you're trying to attract that visitor community to your establishment.
And I guess I should mention your visitor center.
Yes. So we
have two, right?
Well, we have one under construction and one in operation.
Okay.
So we have one at Pier 60 Park, right on Clearwater Beach.
Yes.
And then we are underway at the Courtney Campbell Causeway, at the top of the Courtney Campbell Causeway, where they're building the pedestrian bridge there to cross the Courtney Campbell.
There used to be a visitor center a long time ago.
Yeah.
When I was a college age, and we were talking a long time ago.
Well, right there, we're building
yeah.
one too. It's under construction, and that it's a brown old FDOT building that we are currently remodeling now to become a visitor center.
Okay, is it on the same side of the road as the obelisk?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Right past that on the right.
Right past it. Okay, so that's very good news because that was when you're driving into Clearwater and you just don't know where to go.
We're going to make it a fun place to stop.
Absolutely.
We have great big ideas. Visit St. Pete Clearwater, and the city of Clearwater is our partner in that. That's also going to serve as a trailhead for the Pinellas Trails as well. So we've got some great partners. We're excited about our ideas. It's going to be a place that everybody wants to stop at.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Okay. So the sponsorships, I remember you have a golf event every year.
We do in May. Mm-hmm.
Oh, in May.
Yes.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to be a sponsor at any of your events, the Winter Gala, the Stellar Awards, the golf event, I'm probably missing a whole bunch, but they would just contact you.
They would contact me. Actually, Megan Massey is our events manager. She would have access to all of that information to be able to share that with anyone that is interested. Or Jenny Barrow, for those of you that are familiar with the chamber, Jenny's kind of my right hand, right?
Yes.
My go-to. So Jenny's always a great resource as well. If I am not immediately accessible, she kind of knows all things about the organization. She's been with me from the beginning. And so she's also one that could help.
Okay. So any employee that we've forgotten?
I don't think so. I think I have named everyone.
You got them all. Okay.
Shout out to Heidi Stone, that she runs our visitor information center as well, alongside a couple of part-time folks. Yep. Dan Stucher and Debbie McCreary also help her, but she's wonderful. So she kind of takes care of everything visitor information center related.
Perfect. And what can you find at the visitor center?
Well, a resource, right? Heidi and her team are definitely a resource.
Lots of brochures, right?
Lots of brochures, lots of guidance on where to go. We've also been very much involved in helping with the marina tenants who've been displaced as the marina is rebuilt. So helping, visitors find those original marina tenants that they may be looking for and that kind of thing. So
I get very confused. I go down there and I'm like looking for the Sea Screamer and it's not there. Where do I go? So now I know where to.
Yeah. We know where they all are. So stop in at any time. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to do that on my birthday. And I'm like, I don't know where it is.
Well, I think that marina's completion is going to be pretty soon. So I know they're excited to get back into their homes. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a newsletter?
We do. We have several newsletters. So we have one that's focused really on chamber information. We have a community newsletter. We have an achievers newsletter. We have a tourism focused newsletter for our tourism partners.
Goodness. I don't think I'm getting all these.
Yeah. And we have a public policy newsletter for those that are interested in all the policy stuff that we do and focus on, those relationships at various levels of government.
That's great. And they announce all the upcoming events.
Yes.
Okay. Am I
Those are
forgetting
easy
anything?
to sign up for. So just go to our.
So you have to sign up for all these newsletters.
You do,
okay,
right? We won't.
That's why I'm not getting them.
Yeah, we won't spam you with all of them.
Okay, perfect. And Anything else you want to add? Maybe that I've forgotten.
I don't think so. I've enjoyed the opportunity to share a little bit about what we do. You know, the chamber, as I mentioned, is located on Fort Harrison. We own our space. We're excited about that. That was our new home. I guess now it's been a couple of years, so it's not new any longer, but we're excited to have a space that we can live and grow in. And we welcome anyone down to see us.
Yes, it's a beautiful building. It's faces a golf course, the Bel Air Country Club, right? And it's a beautiful view. And yeah, it's a great building.
Yes.
So, and do you have some of these workshops at that building with the Duke Energy Ignite Center?
We do. And certainly some of the mastermind classes. I don't think we mentioned masterminds. We talked about business circles, but certainly some of our mastermind opportunities take place. Those are lunchtime, typically opportunities. Those take place at the chamber offices. And so, yeah,
so somebody can just hop on over during their lunch break and take a class.
That's right.
Awesome. Okay, so we still have about 4 minutes. And I'm going to ask you some fun questions.
Okay.
What food will you absolutely not eat?
Oh, celery.
Celery.
Yes, it's a texture thing. I just don't like
surprising.
it. I just can't. No, celery is the one thing I can't.
Celery or raw celery?
It's all of it.
It's all celery.
All of it.
That's interesting.
It's all of it. And it's such a random, odd thing to not like. But it is a texture. And I am actually usually don't have difficulties with it, but it has been a thing from as young as I could remember. I was not a celery person.
Okay, well, it's mostly water anyway, so you're not missing anything.
I could probably use the hydration once in a while, but yeah.
What's the one item you can't live without?
Oh, gracious.
Not family.
I was going to say.
No, I knew what you were going to say. So besides your family.
Oh, probably my ear pods. Like,
earpods.
I mean, as long as they're connected to something. So I guess I would have to connect to my phone. But, I'm so much more productive when I have those.
Okay.
I'm usually always multitasking as folks that talk to me will tell you.
When you walked in that you were multitasking.
Yes.
It's a
I think I was ordering groceries when I moved in, right? Or when I came in for Instacart so I can make dinner tonight.
And you have to learn that. When you're a busy person, you have to learn how to streamline anything.
And I am not beyond asking for that extra help where I need it, right?
That's great.
Finding those ways to have extra sets of hands.
I've started to learn that. So, okay. Which do you prefer, talking on the phone or texting?
I think it depends on who it's to, right? If I don't like you very much, then it's probably texting.
Okay. I am the same way. I'm not a talking on the phone
But
person,
I can talk to other people for, an hour or two.
In your position, you have to.
Yeah.
So, do you have a favorite movie?
I do. It's The Goonies. And any of my 1980s folks out there will relate to that. But I think it's just a classic. I did hear that they were going to redo it.
Really?
Yes, I've heard that there's rumors that they were going to, which I couldn't wait. I would love to see a redo of The Goonies. It's such a classic. I don't know how you beat it, but
I would have pictured you as a Gone with the Wind
person
or something.
Well, I mean, I know that probably would be more fitting, right? But no, I was a, teenager-ish, right? Young teenager when Goonies came out, or maybe not quite a teenager yet, in that tween phase. And it was just it was just so much fun. It was just, I loved it.
Okay. What's your favorite car of all time?
And that would be a 1967 Ford Bronco. And I would still love to own I would still love to own one. If I could find one that was priced reasonably, I would purchase it tomorrow.
Why that car?
Probably a lot of it. My dad has always restored cars. My dad's a mechanical engineer by degree. And so he's he's worked in plant manufacturing, recently retired, but worked in plant manufacturing my entire life. But as his kind of hobby, he was always rebuilding something my entire childhood. And of the many things that he rebuilt, that was my favorite, absolute favorite vehicle.
Did you help him rebuild?
I would always be. I mean, I was a Daddy's girl. So I'm an Eagles fan because he grew up in Philadelphia and was an Eagles fan. And so just a Daddy's girl. I say I could change my oil in a tire by the time I could drive a car, because that's what he's like. If you're going to drive a car, you have to know how to do these things. Now, granted, those vehicles were a little more simpler back then than they are today to work on. But I absolutely enjoyed watching, because it was just something that he thrived on. And I have to say, he recently just a couple of years ago. When I was 16, he bought a 1994 Jeep Wrangler. And of course, at 16, I'm like, oh, this vehicle is going to be mine. I can't wait. Of course, that was never my vehicle. And unfortunately, as time went on, he continued to drive it, and I kind of moved on, right, and had all my other cars. But it was always the one that I wanted. And a couple of years ago, he trailered it and brought it down to me and gave it to me. And
That's
so
awesome.
I have that 1994 Jeep Wrangler now. And I actually drove it out this weekend, washed it, cleaned it up, all the things.
That's great.
Yeah, so I
That's
would
great.
say second car would be that one.
No
and
wonder
I
you're
own
so
it.
happy lately.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you, Amanda, for being with us on the Kelly Show.
Well, thank you
and
for
I look
having
forward
me.
to next year.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.